used to be an angry feminist who blamed everything on the patriarchy. I joined the Pink Pussy Hat women's marches with the I am not being paid a single cent to share my real life story with you about who I was and who I am now. What I'm about to share may be a bit shocking to those who have known me for a long time as a passionate Democrat. I wasn't just an Obama and Biden voter. I was an activist. Here's an old Vote Blue pin, and here's a button that says no one is illegal. I love them because they remind me of how idealistic I used to be. I really believed all illegal migrants were just trying to escape a bad situation. I had no idea how naive I was. I didn't know about the terrorists who travel through South America and then cross our border. One just needs to look at the riots and protests in the streets of New York City and the flags they're flying and the ones they're burning to know that they are here. Trump will deport any of them here illegally, and I fully support that plan. That's reason number 1, I walked away from the Dems. I'm going to share 5 more reasons I walked away. I started to realize how badly I'd been lied to by the media. The most famous example being the Very Fine People hoax. If you've never listened to the full unedited clip, you need to. For every Trumpism from the media, there's an unedited clip that betrays their bias. I used to be a major advocate for public schools because I was a teacher for many years. This was before schools were weaponized to indoctrinate kids to be woke. This was also before schools were weaponized to teach first graders. Yes, first graders, about gender transitions without giving parents a chance to keep their children out of this instruction. The National Review reported on October 9th that parents in Pennsylvania won this court case. The judge ruled that the teacher's conduct showed, quote, intolerance and disrespect for the religious or moral beliefs and authority of the parents. Imagine if Kamala gets to pack the Supreme Court, what will happen to parents' rights regarding their children at school? Simple. They'll disappear. I was a teacher before schools allowed boys to compete in girls' sports, steal girls' scholarships, and destroy the intent of Title IX. I was a teacher before schools were weaponized to teach anti-Zionism under the guise of social justice. Now I completely understand why parents want school choice, and I totally support school choice. Trump supports expanding school choice, and that's reason number 2. I walked away from the Dems. I used to be an angry feminist who blamed everything on the patriarchy. I joined the Pink Pussy Hat women's marches with the same so-called feminists who couldn't bring themselves to acknowledge that rape and sexual violence occurred on October 7th, 1 year ago, during the attack on Israel. I will never march with them again. I am done being used by progressive movements so they can cause more hate and division between women and men and between white people and people of color. And that's reason number 3. I walked away from the Dems. By the way, Trump is not going to create a federal ban on abortion. Abortion has been dangled like a carrot for decades. Obama promised to codify Roe in a law. It never happened. Biden promised to codify Roe in a law. It didn't happen. Kamala is promising to codify Roe in a law, and it won't happen. So if that's your single issue, I am asking you to carefully reevaluate it. Now let's talk about the economy. Businesses lost $122 billion to retail theft in 2023, which is $20 billion more than in 2022. We're all paying for that in increased prices. Energy is up 34%, groceries are up 22%. This is not sustainable for non-Hollywood celebrities who depend on a regular paycheck to survive. Most Americans get about a 3% raise once a year. That doesn't help at all with this meteoric rise in inflation. Unemployment claims have hit a 14-month high. I myself separated from my former employer a few months ago and have submitted many applications since then. I cannot afford to earn less than the average salary in my state, or I won't be able to pay my rent, my bills, and my taxes, much less save for retirement. By the way, right now, I can afford to retire comfortably for approximately 12 minutes. So no, Bidenomics does not work for me, and that's reason number 4. I walked away from the Dems. What about crime? When I was a liberal Democrat, it was all about defund the police. They say data doesn't lie, except for when it does. Did you know that in 2021, less than 63% of police departments sent their data to the FBI? Guess which Democrat-led cities failed to provide their crime data? You got it, New York, Chicago, and LA. In 2023, the FBI reported 5,941 aggravated assaults in Nashville, but Nashville's own data shows 6,900 aggravated assaults. Hey, Nashville, chill out. In 2022, only 43% of violent crime victims actually reported the crime to the police, and these examples all prove that when Trump says the FBI crime data is not accurate, he's correct. The Washington Examiner analyzed crime data from the Major Cities Chiefs Association, which tracks reports across 70 major cities. They found that since 2019, murder rates are up 23% and aggravated assaults are up 26%. And guess which city is one of the ones that reported a significant increase in robberies over just the last year? Minneapolis in Tim Walz's state of Minnesota. And guess which city is one of the ones that reported a significant increase in assaults over the last year? Aurora, Colorado, where the Tren de Aragua gang has been terrorizing citizens. So no, I do not support defunding the police, and neither does Trump. That's reason number 5, I walked away from the Dems. Now, on to everyone's favorite topic, electric cars. Kamala wants to outlaw gas cars and mandate all EVs by 2030. You'd think Elon Musk would love Kamala's agenda, except he's supporting Trump. Why? Because he understands, like so many of us, that the entire Constitution is at stake. We are no longer fooled by the Trump is a threat to democracy line. Dems have robbed the bank. There's no money left because they've wasted billions. In 2021, Congress approved $7.5 billion to build tens of thousands of EV chargers. Politico reported in December 2023 that not a single charger had been built yet. In 3.5 years, only 7 charging stations were completed. Those kinds of numbers wouldn't get someone hired as a manager of a fast food restaurant, much less CEO of a Fortune 500 company. What other numbers would tank someone's promotion? Well, there is this thing called the broadband rollout, otherwise known as a fiasco, as the Wall Street Journal put it. Kamala had 3.5 years and $42.5 billion, that's right, $42.5 billion to implement broadband connectivity in rural areas. To this day, not one rural home has been connected with that money. We have a failed border czar and a failed broadband czar wanting to run the country. Voting for this kind of ineffectiveness is the definition of insanity. That's reason number 6. I walked away from the Dems. I'll close with this. I'm an American. I'm also an American Jew. And I firmly believe, after listening to hundreds of hours of policy experts' analysis, that Jews are in far greater danger with a Kamala Harris administration than with a Trump-Vance administration. Trump created an executive order to include anti-Semitism under Title VI, which the media never talks about, and I didn't know about until I walked away from the Dems. Kamala said on The View that she was part of the major decisions in the Biden administration and she can't think of anything she'd do differently. Not a thing. How many more American women will be raped and murdered by illegal immigrants? How many more young female athletes will lose games and scholarships because of boys who identify as a girl? How many more students will be indoctrinated to hate Israel and Jews? How many more American hostages will be held captive and not released? Enough already. Smart people are willing to change their mind. Smart people can objectively evaluate information and course correct even when it means admitting that they were wrong. If you really stand against hate, vote with the party that is unifying America, not with the party that's dividing us. I am so grateful I was able to walk away from the media-manufactured hate. Grateful I can finally see how hypocritical Dems are when they spew their hate at MAGA. Grateful I am able to evaluate policy based on a candidate's record and not my emotions. I want to thank Brandon Straka for the awesome walked away community. I invite you to walk away from the Dems with us. Let's vote Trump and Vance into the White House and make America great again.
For more great videos, download the Walkaway Social app at walkawaysocial.com. Share your testimonial and join our community.